Hey folks, it's me, John Jack. Welcome to episode 5 of Talking Indie Comics with John Jack. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we do have a Patreon on our website, comic-watch.com, and a much longer show called Comic Watchers that's more Big Two based. This is very indie comics centric. I'm John Jack, as always, and happy to be here. This week I'm going to be talking the Wytches Bad Egg one-shot from Shanghai Red, just the whole series, issues 1 through 5. The 5th issue came out this last week. And Ice Cream Man number 8, and those are all from Image. And then Blood Realm number 2, and it came out on a Wednesday, number 3, both from Alterna Comics. So really, it was kind of a light week, Big Two wise, being a 5th week and all. But I gotta say, indies wise, it was a great week. I ended up having to. Sorry, stupid camera always does this. There we go. I actually ended up having to kind of pick and choose between books that I got, because I got a couple other books. There was a Beasts of Burden that came out. I like Beasts of Burden, and just a little more of this and that. So let's get started. First book I'm going to talk about is the Wytches Bad Egg one shot, and I don't know about you guys, but I was just so excited to even hear they were doing a Wytches one shot. I know a lot of it's stuff that came out in Image Plus, issues 1 through 13, if you have those. I do. But at the same time, goodness, it's great to have anything Wytches out. Of course, Wytches is by Scott Snyder, Jock, and Matt Hollinsworth on letters, and is published by Image Comics. This issue is a one-shot prequel to the original story, which follows Clara, who she was an older lady in the original Wytches, and now she's a young mother with her son Sebastian, who we also saw, and they are members of the witch hunting Irons. This issue details Seb's introduction into the Irons, induction, in which he has to kill a witch, and he's probably 10 years old. Really good issue, phenomenal art, just amazing art, as always, from Jock. I'm a big Jock fan. His work with Scott Snyder on Batman has been a favorite of mine, and I'm looking forward to the Batman Who Laughs coming up. Also, he's done quite a bit of great work with Andy Diggle, The Losers for DC Vertigo, and Snapshot for Image. Let's say Image. Snapshot's a cool little mini-series. I'll probably review one of these light weeks when I don't have a lot of indies. So, Wytches. Find it, read it, buy it. You want it. It's good. Definitely a solid book. It was, and for those who don't know, this is our first, besides the shorts in Image Plus, which are included in this one shot, this is our first new Wytches material since 2013. But Scott Snyder did tease that there is going to be an upcoming second Wytches story, and this one shot is part of it. Or it's not part of it, but it's as much a prequel to the news story, which will center around Sebastian, as it is a prequel to the original miniseries Wytches. And that's Wytches with a Y, if you weren't aware, and it's by Image Comics. I have the trade somewhere on my shelves. Might be on that shelf. I don't know. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm talking about. Probably, maybe. And it is kind of nice. I did kind of try to, so all these issues came out on Halloween, so I kind of tried to pick the more Halloween spooky issues. So second book I talk about is going to be Ice Cream Man number 8, which is written by W. Maxwell Prince with art by Martin Morazzo. So if you haven't been following this series, it's been one of the better kind of horror series out right now. And this issue involves the ice cream man driving around, and the town it's just like hell on earth. People killing each other and just nightmare scenarios, and just this book right now is probably like, there's books that are a little unsettling. This book legitimately has haunted me a couple times. I think issue number 5 or 6, the one where it was 3 colors and 3 different lives. There were just some panels in that like I was thinking about for days. And likewise, the early on, the second issue with the junkies was really, really emotional and unsettling. And this issue is more over the top than those. Those ones were more subtly unnerving. This one is just kind of straight up, like I said, it's hell on earth. And it's not 100% clear whether it is the ice cream man causing it. The ice cream man is basically the villain of his own story, which is pretty cool. He's kind of tormenting this small town as they buy ice cream from him. Brilliant series. The first trade is out if you wanted to read it in trade. And volume 2 is coming in January, I believe. So volume 1's out now. Volume 2 in January. Likewise, Wytches is available in trade if you want to read the original series to find out, well, you know, what they're talking about. I don't know how my camera does that. I don't know if it's the app or what. There we go. I think it's trying to focus on the background. I don't know. Maybe it's my hat. I think it's my hat. Whatever. Okay. Next thing I'm going to talk about is Shanghai Red, which just completed with the 5th issue. It's a 5-issue miniseries, and that's written by Christopher Sabella with art by Josh Hickson. And Shanghai Red follows a woman named Molly, who is also referred to as Red or Jack, because when she was looking for work, she was with her mom and her sister, and there was no work for 3 women to do, so she went out as a man named Jack and got logging work and hunting work and this and that. So Jack, you know, in disguise, was drinking one night and got shanghaied, which is kidnapped out of a bar and basically sold into slavery to a ship. You know, that's was a pretty common practice out of Portland in the turn of the century prior to the Industrial Revolution. And basically what they would do is they'd sign you up for a 2-year contract, and then when that contract was up, they would leave you in China. So you couldn't report a crime, and you just usually just die out there, or, you know, maybe make your way back. But when her contract is up, she kills all the sailors on the ship, ends up, you know, forming a successful mutiny, and her and the rest of the Shanghai sailors sail back to Portland. And most of the sailors go their separate ways, except for one named Boston, and Molly goes to work. She tracks down her mom, who died while she was gone. She was gone 2 years, and then it took her a year to sail back. So over the course of 3 years, her mom has died, and her sister is shockingly working in the bar she was kidnapped from. Sorry, wife texted. Had to think for a second. I lost my train of thought. Oh, so she finds her sister, and by tracing her steps backwards, she's able to find, by hanging out in the bar, she's able to find the very man who threw her in the trapdoor down into the Shanghai tunnels under Portland, and starts working her way up the ladder. And, you know, I'm not going to spoil the end to you, but, you know, she cuts a pretty good trail of destruction through Portland. And amazing miniseries. Once it was out for the show, I went ahead and read all 5 issues again. And it holds up absolutely when you read it as a whole. So I highly, highly, highly recommend it in trade. The art is amazing, and you know, I would call this like Sabella and Hickson click in a way that feels like Brubaker and Lark on Gotham Central or something like that. Like just an awesome in-depth story, and like you know, just the art pairs it so well. You know, Hickson's art is not overly it's detailed, but not overly so, especially in faces. It's a little reminiscent of like a David Aja, or a little more detailed than like a Mignola, but not crazy detailed, which I love. I made it sound bad for a second. I didn't mean to. I think that's a great thing, and sorry, I lost my train of thought. My wife keeps texting me. So, Shanghai Red, highly recommend it. All 5 issues are now out. I have all of them on that stack right there, because I just read them. Sabella was nice enough to sign them for me, which was pretty neat. He's a nice fella. Sabella. He's also writing Crowded right now, and House of Muck, both of which I've reviewed on this show in the last few weeks. Probably one of my favorite, you know, indie writers working right now. So that's what that is. And that concludes the image portion of our show. Goodness. Might be a slightly short one today. I'm going kind of quicker than I like to go. Unless I can choose a random thing to talk about. I'll choose a random thing to talk about. You'll see. You'll all see. I'm rambling. Okay, so image section is over. So we're going to switch over to Alterna books. And we're going to start with Blood Realm number 2 by Robert Geronimo with art by Thomas Maurer. Wait. Robert Geronimo, I think, writes and draws. One sec. Another book right here. Yes. Letters by Thomas Maurer. Creator, writer, artist, Robert Geronimo. Just a reminder, I do buy the books that I review on here. I'm not just reading review copies online to get viewership. Okay, so God, I'm rambling. I apologize for rambling. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. So Blood Realm. Blood Realm is a tale of a alternate world and some white witches that are trying to steal a artifact from some satyrs. I don't really know how to say the word. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I've read this issue twice now, and I might need to read it a third time. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what's going on. I might need to read the first and the second issue again. One thing I can tell you though is the art is just, I love it. I friggin' love the art. And I think that's part of why I'm having trouble following the story, is because I'm really engrossed in the art in every page. And by comparison, the story is a little simplistic. Not in a bad way, but just a pretty basic, hero's journey kind of situation. But the art is it three colors. It's just red, black, and white. It's amazing. I can't believe how much Geronimo is doing with those three colors, and I love it. I love the art. One issue to go. It's an alternate comic, so when it's all out, all three issues are going to be $4.50. If you want to catch up right now, the 2 issues are $3. Absolute minimum zero risk of this letting you down for that price. Just go out and buy it. Go out and buy it. Order it from Alterna's shop. Order from their website. Order from their Etsy. Hit up Peter Cimetti on Twitter. He'll drop you a link. Or Robert Geronimo. He's spoken to me as well. There also is a Blood Realm Twitter. So if you're on the Twitter, they're all very easy to track down. Very easy to track down. And that's all I got to say about Blood Realm, I guess. I feel like I'm kind of raving here. I didn't have quite enough coffee this week. Last week I had too much coffee. This week I didn't have enough coffee. I need to work on my coffee balance, I guess, or something. So, last new book on the show this week is going to be, came out on a Wednesday, number 3, which is another Alterna book. This is an Alterna anthology book that comes out monthly on, I think the last Wednesday of the month. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. Their titles do come out kind of sporadically. What I like to do is just put it on your pull list and, don't worry about when it's going to come out, because it will come out, but it just sometimes takes a little while. But came out on a Wednesday, number 3. Has just like a really phenomenal Kirby-esque cover by Bernie Gonzalez. I love Jack Kirby, so seeing anything that's kind of a Kirby style something is amazing. And it's got a little Superman poster on it, and a good Kirby monster. There's some characters looking at the Kirby monster. It's more like a Kirby robot, really, who look a lot like the original Kirby era Fantastic Four, which is pretty cool. And that's the cover. I'm just talking about a cover for this long. So I wanted to talk about a few. This is an anthology series, and there are shorts in there. I think you can actually submit a comic short to them if anybody is ever interested in, submitting some comic shorts to try and get some work published. This is a good avenue to go through, I believe. So the first story that I wanted to talk about is Emergence from Jordan Hart and Emmanuel Javier, who also did Doppelganger, I want to say. Yep. Doppelganger. Yep, same creative team as Doppelganger. Sorry. I get distracted. Love that Doppelganger. It's a great mini. But Emergence involves a portal opening, or having opened, and sucking a ship, or a bunch of ships over the course of a few hundred years. And then people emerge afterward. People, objects. There's like a submarine that drops in the desert. There's an oil tanker that drops on a city. So it's some stuff, and their response is they're sending people in. These are ongoing shorts, so I think I didn't count the pages, but it's probably like an 8-page short. They might do a few of them in a row and then maybe release them as issues or whatever. But I really liked that Emergence short, and I love Doppelganger too. If you guys see if Jordan Hart or Emmanuel Javier see this video. If you do, I do apologize. If you make it to this point in the video, I do apologize. And next, I did want to mention there is a one-page Mr. Crypt short in there. I like Mr. Crypt. He's funny. I don't know where my bookmark is. I do have a Mr. Crypt bookmark. I like Mr. Crypt. He's a little skeleton man, and he's always getting into trouble, getting into jams, and having to get himself out. It's a funny series. Dumb. Sorry. And the last story I wanted to talk about is called The Highest Bid, which is by Eric Gahagan and Halil Mete. I am genuinely sorry if I mispronounced either of your names, and I'm sure I did. The Highest Bid involves an old couple getting what would appear to be a cursed painting, and the events that follow involving the curse. It was a really good story. I don't know what to say about it, really. But definitely noteworthy and good. So I did say I was going to talk about an old one because I'm about 2 minutes short. So this week I'm going to talk about Witch Doctor. If you weren't aware what Witch Doctor is, Witch Doctor is, there's 2 volumes of it. It was a It was 2 6-issue minis and a couple one-shots, I believe, by Brandon Seifert, Lucas Kettner, and Andy Troy. I'm sorry, I'm literally reading it off the issue as I go. And that is by Image Comics. Witch Doctor involved a doctor, almost like a surgeon or whatever, but like a magical surgeon, like borderline like Doctor Who meets John Constantine with a touch of like Penny Dreadful or something. It's an amazing series, incredible art. They fight just all kinds of freaky monsters, and it's just a great series. It is important to note that it's just the 2 minis, and the second mini leaves off on a bit of a cliffhanger and was never continued. So it does leave off on a little bit of a low note, but the series itself is good enough that I highly recommend it. Witch Doctor, 2 volumes. You can find them for cheap. Well, I think that's all I got today. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you next week.